we are going to review a book which I have just been recently reading. I haven't quite finished it, but it's called Secrets of the Millionaire's Mind. And it says Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth, and it's written by Harv Eker. It's really quite an interesting read, because if you want to move from wherever you are to maybe to be more wealthy, there's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. So I'm going to share with you what I've read, what the book says, and give you an insight on what you may need to do to get yourself to that level. And not only that, I have to say that it will require not just reading but putting things into action, which is normally the difficult part, isn't it? But it can be done. It's a matter of committing yourself to it, not just wanting it but really committing yourself to it. At the beginning of the book, he said that he was struggling financially. He would start a business, but it will always fold because it just wasn't happening for him. And he tried various businesses and the result was pretty much the same. So he was back home now in his dad's basement, and his dad had a friend over. So he had a word with Harv, and he said, you know, Harv, if you're not doing as well as you'd like, all that means is there's something you don't know. And when I read that, it was quite profound, because I realized that there is a lot that I don't know personally. That's the reason why I am where I am at the moment. So I could do with learning a few things, developing myself, becoming a better me. Then I could attract all the good things that I desired. And in his book, he talks about it's not enough to be in the right place at the right time. You have to be the right person in the right place at the right time. You have to look at yourself, ask yourself these questions. Who are you? How do you think? What are your beliefs? What are your habits? What are your traits? How do you really feel about yourself? How confident are you in yourself? How well do you relate to others? How much do you trust others? Do you truly feel that you deserve wealth? What is your ability to act in spite of fear, in spite of worry, in spite of inconvenience, in spite of discomfort? Can you act when you're not in the mood? Basically, he's looking at your character, your thinking, your beliefs, because those are critical, because they determine the level of your success. And then he has wealth principles littered across the book, and the one that jumped out at me was your income can grow only to the extent that you do. So it means that you have to do some work to grow yourself inside, you know, as a person, your character, the area that many people don't concentrate on really. So it's yourself, your beliefs. It's an inside job, because who you are determines what you attract. If you're a self-made millionaire, you may lose money, but you never lose the most important ingredient to your success, and that is the millionaire mindset. So what this book purports to do is to make you start thinking like the millionaire person that you want to be, or the wealthy person that you want to be. The basic of it is that money is a result, wealth is a result, health is a result, illness is a result, your weight is a result. We live in a world of cause and effect. That's what he says in the book. So basically, your inner world, what's happening on the inside, creates your outer world. We have then to look at your blueprint. How is that blueprint formed? Your financial blueprint consists of a combination of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions in the arena of money. So let's look at how we are conditioned. We are conditioned in 3 primary ways, and those are verbal programming. So that's basically what you hear when you were a child, modeling what you saw when you were young and you were growing up, and specific incidents. What did you experience when you were young? You may say you want different things, but if your subconscious goes against it, the subconscious always wins. One of the wealth principles says, when the subconscious mind must choose between deeply rooted emotions and logic, emotions will always win. So that's why it's important to go back and review how you were programmed. At the end of this chapter, he says, write down all the statements you heard about money, wealth, and rich people when you were young. So it's taking you back to your childhood. And then your understanding, write down how you believe these statements have affected your financial life so far. And then if they have affected you in a negative fashion, you need to disassociate with it. And then so he says, can you see that these thoughts represent only what you learned and are not part of your anatomy and are not who you are? Can you see that you have a choice in the present moment to be different? He normally has a declaration at the end of each chapter, and the declaration in this chapter says, place your hand over your heart and say, what I heard about money isn't necessarily true. I choose to adopt new ways of thinking that support my happiness and success. Then touch your head and say, I have a millionaire mind. I would recommend you read the book, find out for yourself. There is a website you can go onto as well called millionairemindbook.com. And then in the book, he also talks about ways rich people think and act differently from poor and middle class people. What are the things that rich people do that the middle class or the poor do not do? So they believe, I create my life, whereas the poor people or the middle class believe life happens to me. And there's a big difference there. One thing, though, that will stifle our wealth would be complaining, because when you're complaining, you are a living, breathing rubbish magnet. At the end of each day, he encourages us to debrief. So write down one thing that went well and one thing that didn't. Then write the answer to the following question: how did I create each of these situations? If others were involved, ask yourself, what was my part in creating each of these situations? This exercise will keep you accountable for your life and make you aware of the strategies that are working for you and the strategies that are not. And I just want to leave you with this. You can either want to be rich or wealthy, or you can choose to be rich, or you can commit to be rich. There is a big difference. You can want to be rich hoping that it will land on you, or you can choose to be rich. This entails deciding to become rich. Choosing is a much stronger energy and goes hand in hand with being responsible for creating your reality. The word decision comes from the Latin word decidere, which means to kill off any other alternatives. Choosing is better, but not best. The highest level of wanting is to commit to be rich. The definition of the word commit is to devote oneself unreservedly. This means holding absolutely nothing back, giving 100% of everything you've got to achieving wealth. It means being willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. This is a warrior's way. No excuses, no ifs, no buts, no maybes, and failure is not an option. The warrior's way is simple. I will be rich or I will die trying. It's up to you.